Hello. It is day number 329 of 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. And this is the Service Heroes Show. My name is Tamara Hunter, and today our guest and service hero is my dear friend, Teresa Snider. Let me tell you what we're doing. We are actually getting ready for a big event that Teresa is one of our volunteers. It is the second annual Chemo Buddies for Life Give-a-thon. I want to say thank you for being the service hero that you are and helping us to prepare for this event. And you are teaching me so much. Thank you, Teresa, for being here.
Oh, wow. You're so welcome. Thank you.
Now, your background really lends itself well to what it is that we are doing with Chemo Buddies for Life, because you have education and professional experience where you actually went and visited doctors' offices. You worked in the, if you will, medical arena. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? Kind of give that side of your background, because I don't know that we've ever interviewed about that. And then we'll talk about what it is that we're doing with Chemo Buddies.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so it is very near and dear to my heart. Whenever I finished my master's degree, I had a master's degree in kinesiology, exercise and sports science, and just seemed like such an easy fit for me to go into medical sales. So that's what I did. In medical sales, I worked for the largest pharmaceutical company in the world. Won so many wonderful awards, so many trips, so much. And then in 2008, 9-ish, when the market changed across the board, it changed for all industries, including the pharmaceutical industry.
Interesting. That's interesting. Okay, let's say hello to Spencer Rose, and then I want to continue on this, because that's very interesting. That I don't think a lot of people would really think about that. Hi, Spencer Rose.
Hello.
Good to see you from the Chicagoland area. We were there not long ago, you and I, where you were actually picked the best dressed. Oh, my beautiful outfit and dress that you were wearing. And okay, so let's get back to that. Because in truth, many people have an opinion, especially in the area that Chemo Buddies for Life does serve, because for those of you that may not know, I am the executive director and co-founder of a nonprofit that is supporting people that are affected by cancer, both the patient and those people that love and support them. We do not take a stand when it comes to treatment. We're going to be talking about this area, but we as a nonprofit do not take a stand, be it traditional, alternative, or adjunctive, meaning to get both. Our stand is that you do not face it alone. Be a part of a community. Come and join our movement. So healing through pets.
Yeah, he was wandering around my feet, and I'm like, he's got to say hi. Paxton has a business card.
Oh, Paxton has a business card. Artie needs one too. What's Paxton? Paxton has a business card now. What does his business card say?
He says, I'm worth it. My mom is worth it, and I'm worth it. So I just had to say hi to Paxton because I've been gone at the Christmas thing all day.
Hi, Paxton. Thank you for showing up and sharing with us, because you know what? There is healing through pets. You know, so much love in our animals. There actually are 4-legged family members, right?
And you know what? Thank goodness for the 4-legged, right? And that's what I will say is that, so today being November 2nd or 3rd, right?
Yeah.
So November 2nd, all these 300 and however many days you've been doing this, and I've been able to watch it. And then love and adore you and admire you and everything about what you're doing. And it definitely, being there with the kids today and Santa Claus and Elsa and all the toys and all, there's just a lot going on, a lot of sensory, lots going on at the particular event I was helping with today. And it just kept pulling me back to remember gratitude, to remember family, to remember all ages are important. And it's like we all collectively come together and bring a little bit more love together.
I love that. I love that. Let's talk about that, and then we'll visit back to the medical world. You are in Texas. You are in small town Texas in a way, right? Talk about that, and then talk about this event that you've been at. I know that you've gone live. I love the pictures and the lives. So much fun. Oh, we've got Carol with us. Yay! One of our ambassadors and one of the co-producers of the event we're going to be sharing about. And she's saying, hello, Paxton. I know. I love that, Paxton. And then one of the woman that dressed you in that beautiful dress.
Oh, my God.
Yes. So good to see you, Mary. So and she actually dressed me, too, in one of the 2 dresses that I wore for the event. I want to thank many of us actually were actually clothed beautifully. She picked these things out for us. She made sure that they represented us well. Thank you so very much for that, Mary. She's out of the Chicagoland area, and if anybody needs a formal gown, check her out. I think she might still have connections in that arena. Wink, wink.
Oh, she knows it. And it's like Rent the Runway. So today I was at the Christmas Roundup, raising money for the Museum of Art.
Cool.
And it's like how all these things go together. Yes, I'm in Texas. Yes, I'm in the old Wild West. Like I have roots, so many roots of growing up, small town, getting to go to college, university. So I have that experience. Traveling all over the world with my pharmaceutical sales job. So I have that experience. I have my master's degree, a lot of wealth of information. It's like, okay, so I have all this knowledge. What do I do with it, right? Yeah. That is why I love the Chemo Buddies movement. That people have choices, that there is alternatives. There's just like this plethora of information out there.
Right. And that's one of the things that you've been helping us with. And it's interesting how you brought that all together, because one of the things for you that are watching, Teresa is known for conscious conversations. She really has this amazing gift of words. She's able to have intelligent conversations with people, thought-provoking about so many varieties of subjects. I mean, you go across all subject matters. And Carol Brown has been, in fact, we were bragging about her yesterday. So
I watched part of that and I was like, oh my gosh, that was so cool.
It was, right. And we were bragging about your show that she has helped to produce over 350 shows with you. And she actually you may find the people that you want to interview, but then she goes and takes care of all the scheduling, all the fine details, gets it out there, the marketing. She makes sure that everything runs well. She does sound checks. She does so much. And then she was like, and I'll never forget it, because you were like, could you use some help? Because I can't keep her busy enough.
I know. And I mean, we were I was on the West Coast with you, and we were driving on Powerful You and another, like all these road ventures that we've been so fortunate to be on.
I know, it's so much
Carol, fun. Like, she's like, tell these stories, like about my dress in California that didn't fit. I couldn't get it zipped. And like, she's like, no, we want to see all these angles, right? And so
Right.
that definitely, she brought me out to bring these different perspectives, because she does. She keeps me in check.
She does. And here's another one. Okay, first of all, okay, so definitely anybody in the Chicagoland area, check out one of our service heroes, Mary Ziola Vega, who we just absolutely love. And if you need any kind of formal or special occasion dresses, please check her out. In fact, Mary, if you want to sink some information in there, please do, because she did some amazing work. And then one of our other volunteers, one that's helping me tremendously get organized, I'm so grateful for. Teresa
Because
can actually, she knows, she's been in my stuff. She knows how much that's needed.
Well, you and I, because we like to have our hands in a lot of different areas. And so,
Right.
like Carol, she's so good about reining me in. Like I have painted and painted and painted all week because my car battery went out, because we've already had our first snow where I live.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So I've been kind of in the snowstorm and all that, which has been fun. So it helped us get through Halloween, first snowstorm, into Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. Thank goodness for technology that we can connect.
Right. I love it. And in fact, okay, so we are, and I want to say thank you for the education and putting me in touch with, which I'm following up with a lot of the people that you've connected me with, so that we can get some good information out there to the buddies in regards to different types of medical stuff. And we want to make sure, through education, through sharing, through inspirational stories, navigating, because
I love the word. Like I am so passionate now about that particular navigation.
Interesting.
Because there are so many different, you look at the economy, you look at greed, you look at the pharmaceutical industry, you look at products, you look at like crowds in, and everybody wants a piece of that market instead of sharing the market and looking for the resolutions. Then everybody gets convoluted and scared, and we're an aging population.
Right.
We're definitely an aging population. And as we age and live longer, there's going to be more things that are going to come up, like homes, and where are we going to live, and like who's going to take care of the elderly, so that's why I continue sending you people that either have had cancer, they're nurse practitioners, they're medical doctors, they are oncologists. There's like every aspect, social workers, navigators.
Right.
That is why I'm so passionate about how do we filter through all this information, because there's oils and CBD and acupuncture and different solutions of people. We're all looking for the next best solution to help us resolve some of these problems. And again, there's genetics and family heritage and just so many different, and we have a hard time with loss and grief and turning things over. I mean, I worked in hospice care, worked in home health, like my spiritual alignment has definitely changed.
Thank you for sharing all of that, because this is really important for people to understand and where we are going. And that's why I'm doing so much. Oh, okay. Just a second. I got to change. I got to change here.
Yes.
We have one of our favorite people in the world.
Yes. Kevin.
Now, Kev, for anybody that doesn't know Kevin Beverly, he actually did both Teresa's and my hometown videos for the Next Impactor Challenge. And we both absolutely adore you. And he has joined us also. It's just so exciting that we have so many amazing people that have joined this movement. And we are basically saying we're coming home. We're coming home. We're creating a home that we can sort through all of this stuff and not make it so scary. We're taking the scary out of cancer because in truth, and not to blame, because that's not what Chemo Buddies for Life's thing is. And again, it doesn't matter what treatment you choose, just don't do it alone. However, with all of this information, sometimes you can get that deer in headlight kind of situation. For example, for those that don't know, I have heard you have cancer for 5 people in one direct line in my family. I've heard it for more people in my family, but this is one direct line. And my grandfather, my mother, my brother, myself, and my daughter. When my daughter was diagnosed, I'll never forget it. I had not been diagnosed. My mother had not. My brother had already survived, and we had lost my grandfather, who was my hero. So that was tough. So here I'm dealing with a 19-year-old daughter and hearing that. My brother was so smart and so wise. He said, don't go on Google. Don't start researching because it could overwhelm. I will do this. I will check into it. She had a very rare cancer. I will start doing some research, but don't let that play games with you. And what I have found is that when we can keep things simple, when we can, that's why we say healing through connections, healing through this, healing through that. We have a lot that we're preparing for everybody, but we're keeping it so simple that at times people are like, so what's this all about? Well, there's a lot to it. There really is. However, we want it to be so simple that it's about a movement and not feeling alone and being able to have those relationships like the Kevin Beverleys of the world, like the Aarons and the Marys and the Carols and the Teresas and all of these amazing people, to then be able to help someone to do something like hear an inspirational story, maybe start a new hobby, maybe navigate through learning how to journal. Right? It doesn't have to be so big. And yet, with building the community that we're building and the people that you are bringing, thank you, Teresa, and others are, as we start to gather this information and we have it in the database where someone can say, okay, I want a trusted source. I want to go somewhere where they don't have an agenda. Because that's one thing with our nonprofit, we have made sure not to have an agenda. That's why we are not raising funds for research. We're grateful. I'm a survivor. We're grateful for it.
Sure.
However,
there's billions of dollars that are being raised, for their research. And here's the missing link is I, have sent you people. I'm like, here's another service hero.
right.
Here's another survivor. Here's another medical person. And that's the thing. It's like, and Kevin knows where I live. And, so it's like this very interesting, I run into these people and I'm like, ooh, I hope I didn't violate HIPAA or say something out of line. And they're like, no, thank you for thinking of me.
Right. That is a big part of all of this too. Because, and I'm glad you brought that up, Teresa, and I'm glad we're having a conversation here, a conscious conversation, I would say, right?
Oh, wink,
Wink, wink, yes.
Because this is the thing. You've got to be able to be real and authentic because there's so many times that emotions and family and money and whatever gets in it that we lose sight of and we get scared.
Yes, and when you brought up HIPAA, that was one of the things that when my doctors and nurses convinced me to look into doing this because of my original buddy and I and the relationship that they saw. Part of the story that I don't talk about a lot is that once we started this and we started to create a movement and having some success in helping people and we were getting social proof. Doctors and nurses were asking some of our buddies, what's different about you? What's going on? What they knew, they could tell that something was up. And so then I showed up at my center where they had convinced me to do this, and they had to pull me aside, and they thought I was going to get upset about it, but I didn't. I just thought it was interesting. And they said, now that you're doing this and we wanted you to, you can't not go back into the chemotherapy room to say hello to the nurses, because I used to be able to do that. But because of HIPAA, and because I could be considered like a public figure or a risk because of confidentiality. And
believe me, that's what I would also say, right? Is that I learned being in medical sales and how the access has changed over the years.
Right.
Like I could come and go and take doctors to dinners and nurses, and back in the day we had more lavish expense accounts and on and on, right? Because I definitely loved that education component. I was very proud of my career. I talk about it all the time. Like I married my career.
Right.
And I did. And I dove head first. And I was like, I'm going to be the very best workaholic, whatever.
Right.
So the market changed. HIPAA changed. Laws changed. People got scared. And then it's like, now we have this aging population and we don't know what to do next.
Right. And for anybody
that's the thing, is fear gets in the midst of all these different aspects. Fear is the driving force where faith moves out of the way.
Right. And before we go on with this, I just want to recognize another one of our friends. One of our road trip roadies. I love us some Mikey. That's right. Mikey Adam Cohen. So, and for many of you that may not know, for years I was a headhunter, a recruiter, and I did actually specialize in recruiting pharmaceutical sales reps. And so I remember those packages. I recruited and was able to, if you will, headhunt. I could steal from one group to another because I knew who had the great drugs, who had it. Pharmaceuticals, who had the best packages, who had fast tracks to possibly a management position, because that was the golden age. That was
the thing. It's like, and I look at what am I transitioning and pivoting into next?
Right.
Is that because I wore the black suit, the pantsuit, drill it down, be conservative, be educated, be all these things.
Right.
And I could send a headhunter my resume and they would be like, wow.
Like, oh yeah.
Well, she's a golden ticket.
Right.
Because of all, being mobile, single, experience, education, career ladder, all of it.
The whole package, as they say.
The whole package. And now it's like, I represent those of us that are 50 and 60. What are we doing? And you and I've talked about it so much. And that's why I love that we are such good friends. It's like, next, what's the next chapter?
Right. And that goes along with what we're doing here with Chemo Buddies for Life. And that's what I get so excited about, because where we're going with this, everybody, I want you to understand, we have experience, both of us, and I did really ask Teresa to join with this movement because of where she comes from. Because in truth, some people have a hard time with our nonprofit's name because of the word chemo. That is
Well, then
where,
Mikey says, thanks for wearing Jewish blue. Again, like I've been out promoting Christmas today, right?
right.
But then I have all my friends all over the world that have different philosophies and theories. And that's why we have to kind of come together.
Right.
I know I
Yes.
interrupted because I get so
No,
excited.
no, that's okay. This is why I brought Service Heroes back right now, especially this month, because we're going to we're counting down to a big event, and we are educating why we are so passionate about taking Chemo Buddies for Life global, and people need to understand. And so, I'm proud of I'm calling our volunteers the dream team, the coaches, the volunteers, the ambassadors, because we truly are. We have some of the very best people that I know, and I know a lot of people, you know, a lot of people, and we've got some of the very best that have joined us because they see the need. So we are breaking it down in conversations now, where I'm doing the countdown in the morning just to remind everybody and to start really plowing away at this is a fundraiser, so we need to wink be donating, and getting excited about the actual show. But the behind the scenes, why are we doing this? We can have some conversations here and explain one of the things that you just said. Well, many of them tie in so beautifully, because the American Cancer Society has educated us that the true numbers are, at least in the United States, that 1 in every 2 men right now and 1 in every 3 women will experience those 3 words, you have cancer, in their lifetime. And I joke, because that's what I do, that let's just say a man has 1 friend. So we are supporting the people that support them. So that's 100%. Now, a woman has 2 friends, right? We're a little bit more social. So again, that is 100%. We are truly looking at possibly being there for the world. They say to niche down. How do you do that? Well, it's
And
through
that is the question. Like, how do you?
Well, that's why this conversation, I'm so thrilled that we're having, because this is a big part of it. We need to look at who is it that is at risk of isolation, at risk of possibly not wanting to tell others that they have cancer, or that they are not actually even admitting it to themselves, because that can happen too, that phenomenon. And so those people that for some reason are isolating themselves, and HIPAA, when you mentioned that word, that was designed to help us, but many times when something is designed to help us, it actually can work against us too. And so HIPAA is helping with the confidentiality piece of it. However, because of HIPAA, we are isolating ourselves more. We don't have as many of those, if you will, pink ladies that come in and sit with you, and you know, you have to be vetted now. You have to go through all sorts of background checks. You have to go through training just to go and sit with someone. And so when you have people that are the here and now, and they're thinking, I don't know, I can get through tonight. How am I even going to make it to tomorrow? I'm scared and I'm alone. Or I'm in a culture, because sometimes it's a cultural thing where we don't talk about these things. You know, in some cultures now we do, it's accepted, but in some cultures, no, it still isn't. And did you know, Teresa, that in some of the cultures out there, they actually still believe that you can catch cancer?
I believe it. I believe it. I do.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. It's because it's such a phenomenon. Like the phenomenon of how is this happening? You know, the bloodlines, is it the drugs, is it the alcohol, is it the emotional? I mean, Is it blood transfusion? I mean, believe me, I hear it, see it. And that's the thing. It's like, then we isolate, and then we have hand sanitizers, and, just like, this is what I'm passionate. And I'm loving reading all the comments too, like that. Mikey, my date extraordinaire, and then Kevin. It's like, that is the thing, is we have to pull together. And it's so interesting, because I listen to so many podcasts and read so much. Hey, you know what? Sorry, Christmas Roundup Blue. Bobblehead for the win. I've got all these paintings and all, and like I said, I had my house cleaned today because I was like, I can't take it anymore. Okay, so all the information, the isolation, the confusion,
right?
And they say, they think, is it genetic? I mean, are we catching it? Are we spreading it? No, stop. Let's just support one another. Let's be there for one another.
Right. And so that's why this movement, this nonprofit, that this month, November, is our second birthday. We were recognized by the state of California as a nonprofit corporation. And then we ended up getting our recognition through the IRS. It takes a little longer. We didn't get that paperwork until January the next year. However, they retroact it. And so we became an official 501c3 2 years ago this year. And it has taken 2 years of very dedicated work to get to this point where it looks as though we're the new kid on the block, which is fine. However, we are not. We have social proof now. We have and are building the infrastructure, and we have learned that in keeping it simple, we are going to affect more people. And the simplicity of, if someone is feeling overwhelmed, like, where do I turn? There's too much information. Like when my brother said, don't search it out. I will search it out. I'll come up with the simple, facts, and then we'll go forward. And we did, and all was well. For us to be able to have a place where people can say, I'm scared. I'm confused. I need a friend. All these different things. I need some education in regards to this or that. I just need to get my mind off of the pain, whatever it may be. To have a home that you can access from anywhere in the world. And it's crazy to think that more people have one of these than have clean water. It is the truth. It is statistical. It is the facts. And so
it's a first world problem that we all, you know what I mean? Like, we're dealing with first world problems, and then there's still so many things that are unresolved.
So to use the technology for good, to be able to, because one of the things that one of our dear friends, Joy Cooper Willett, teaches, and I'm one of her students, as many know, that our conscious mind is only so much. And then the rest of us is basically powered by our body as a machine. And we need to be able to cross from the conscious into the subconscious or unconscious brain. And one of the things that our brain works for us, for Chemo Buddies for Life, is that this conversation we're having right now, Teresa, though you're in Texas and I'm in Southern California, at some point in time, I may think, did we talk about that when you were here? Or did we talk about that when we were looking at each other through the internet? because our brain doesn't always remember that, because I'm looking at you. And that's the charm of being able to say, okay, you may be in your jammies. You may not be able to get out of your room like when I was in isolation going through cancer. However, to have the ability to feel as though you're not isolated and you're not behind closed doors where you have to put a mask on to go outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
When you can go around the world like Sharon Nichols Ward did, our senior ambassador that helped us to go global. She was the first one to really get us going out there. And yet she couldn't go into her backyard.
Mm-hmm.
She did it through what it is that has been built for us. And that is what I love about what we're doing, is we are taking what some are saying, oh, this and that about whatever it may be, because there's good and there's bad. We are choosing to look at the good.
Absolutely.
And then we are bringing all these amazing people together that also are too, so that we then can say, okay, buddies, come home. Mm-hmm. We have a safe place. We have a place where we share humor, hope, and heart. And we have people that are educating. So to have a place, a resource that we are building right now, we have people writing for us, and we are starting to load our beta site that will be going live next. But the first site that I'm so proud of it's just gone live. We still have some work to do on it, but it is fully functional, is cb4l.org. What amazing people we have. I love our new look, our new logo, and thank you, Brooke Kern, for that. The work that Christy and Tony and Aaron have been doing on the site. There's a lot of support for people that are going through this. When you walked into doctor's offices, and because we all have been to the doctor's offices, we see the reps. They go in with their big, you always know, okay, they've got their big black bag or whatever it is, and they have the appointment. They may be bringing in food, at least back in the day, and they're going in to educate the doctors. Yet they see the population of the patients and such. They're not supposed to, HIPAA and everything, but right. Especially before HIPAA. Let's just talk before HIPAA.
Sure.
When you would go into an office, what was it like for you? Because you could probably pick up on when someone was possibly having a bad day, the patient population,
sure,
and all of that. What did I want to hear from someone that had, if you will, solutions that were designed for that population. How did that make you feel, knowing that what you were doing could possibly help that person sitting in the chair?
Well, that was why I loved it so much, is because I knew that there was going to be an element of helping. There was an element of education. There was I don't think people in general go into education, or they don't go into the medical community with this idea that they're going to be stressed out, overworked, that they are going to be so dog tired, exhausted. And I look again at the education system, and people are saying, golly, there's just like so much preaching. We need to revamp the school systems. Doctors are exhausted. They're overwhelmed. Insurance companies, Medicare, all of that is coming. So to keep it simple,
right?
Let's keep it simple. And the funnel is that I loved that career.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I loved it because I felt like that we were banding together and we were providing solutions in general. And it would always have me studying late, getting up early, going to ERs, going to nursing homes, all of that component. And still, at the end of the day, we got to remember there are families, egos. People are scared, and that fear is that driving force that keeps people from, I don't even know how to explain it, acceptance.
That is, and thank you for sharing that, because I have talked to so many reps over the years, especially back in the day when I was recruiting, and I don't think that the general public possibly understands how dedicated, and also I recruited for some of the companies that were starting to look at some of the newer ways of coming up with solutions, the biotech in the Golden Triangle of San Diego, California. I actually was independent at the time, and I would go in and do independent recruiting for some of their because of the understanding that I had of the generalities of the industry, and I loved it. And I can say too that in general, there's a lot of people that right now have a bit of a sour taste because of the bigger picture of what's going on out there. And
well, let me tell you, greed, right? Greed is, and you think, okay, I have farmland or whatever. You've got the railroad, you've got the wild, wild west, you've got technology, you've got old electronic medical records, you've got all these people fighting for this market share, and so they come from a scarcity mindset.
Right.
And that scarcity mindset doesn't, at the end of the day, have everybody going home, putting their head on their pillow, knowing that they have done something good.
Right.
For the family, right? Like it used to be, women didn't have rights, and they were there to bear a lot of children, to build large families. I mean, our culture is changing.
Right.
Everything's changing.
And yet with that, because yes, I will say that it's that 80-20 or 90-10 rule, that there are those people, I'm not going to discount it, there are those that are creating that greed situation. However, the thing that I do want to highlight here is that so many of the people that are the front lines, they truly do, to today, they truly do care. They want to see people get better. They care about their well-being. They care, and they feel as though, and they're willing to sacrifice their own personal time and have those sleepless nights and do that research and do that studying and go get another degree because it's not enough education, and they're so close to making that difference that could save those lives. There are those people out there, and I want to be able to say, tip our hats to them and say, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Gratitude without hesitation, because they don't get those thank yous enough anymore because of that greed situation that's out there and the bad news that's out there. And that's what Service Heroes was created for, was to say, okay, we're not going to deny that there's some stuff going on out there. However, we're going to highlight the good. We're going to look at the good because there is so much service taking place. And within this area of, and it really took me a while, and I think I've talked to you about this before offline, it took me a while to be okay even with the name of the nonprofit, because therefore I was getting attacked almost there in the beginning, chemo buddies for life. Well, that's the original buddies. We met there. But it doesn't matter.
And that's the thing, is hospice care. There's this lack of information, again, that fear. And again, the research dollars that go in to produce the products, these things don't just land on your doorstep and cost nothing to manufacture and nothing, Shark Tank, like all of that. But you got to look at the good. You've got LVNs, you've got nurse aides, you've got people that are bending over backwards, that are in the heart, in the depths of these illnesses, that the pastors, I mean, it's just like there are some service heroes.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And that's what we want to be able to say, because I mean, truthfully, I'm alive. My brother and my daughter, we are alive because of the fact that there have been those people that have had those sleepless nights, that have been willing to go out there and say, I know we can change this. I know that we can come up with something. Is it perfect? No. Am I different than I was before I started? Yes, but quite honestly, I like myself better. So, it's a matter of attitude. And one of the things I really want to be able to stress here is that we are saying this more and more, is that we are taking the scary out of cancer, because there's too much fear going out there. And it's a matter of attitude. It's a matter of uniting together and saying that nothing is perfect. Education is important. However, being able to laugh with someone, being able to enjoy life, being able to listen to music and sing off key like we do in the car, right? And laugh while we're doing it.
Well, this is so interesting that you said that, because whenever I was with the young kids today and Elsa and the Disneyland, everybody was flocking, to Elsa, and everybody wanted to sing Let It Go.
Yeah.
Let it go. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's what we need. We need to just kind of be with one another, let some of that go, and just like gather and hold hands, and healing through music, healing through the arts, healing through writing, healing through, it's a bitter, cold world if we have to put that set of lenses on.
Right. And so thank you, everybody, for being a part of this conversation, because what I want to ask you out there, and if you want to participate and comment, that would be great. And please #live, #replay. And that is, have you ever known anybody that has faced cancer and felt isolated and alone? My mom did. And it wasn't because I wanted her to. It was because of circumstance. And every single time I think about that, and Teresa's been here, this was her room. My filming room was her room. And so I come in here, and every single day that I do, it's like, okay, we are dedicated to make sure that if someone doesn't want to be alone, some do, but if they don't want to feel alone, that they can pick up their phone, they can turn on a computer, they can turn on their smart TVs. I mean, there are so many different ways that they're going to be able to access us, and they can be a part of a community in their jammies. I couldn't go to what was in my neighborhood, a wonderful resource. However, our house had pneumonia, and I wasn't even allowed to walk through it to go to, because of some issues that I had personally. And so not everybody can get out to those brick and mortar locations. And there was nothing online for me to be able to tap into, except for the fact that I had met my original buddy, which was not an accident. I do believe it was destiny. And we were able to, because I didn't have a voice, we were able to type through our fingers to talk to each other. And that was 5 years ago now. I started treatment 5 years ago in December, and we met that first day. And I think back, Teresa, and it's funny, I think back and I think, was that conversation one that we actually had in voice? Or was it that I was reading it? because again, it's the way that our body and our minds and our souls work. Because when you are having that amazing, wonderful experience, that's the memory.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the delivery system. It's the people that you were involved with, just like you and I right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody is watching this, and if you have known someone isolated and fearful, depressed and afraid, feeling as though there was no way out of that scary, even if you don't want to say something, please just think about this for a moment. What would you have done, or what would you do to change that for that person or someone that's currently going through this now? Because there's so many that are. There are people this weekend that do not know they're going to be they're waiting to hear that those tests are going to tell them they have cancer. Every single day there are those people. And won't it be amazing, Teresa, when, if by chance they do hear it, that the next thing they know is to go become a part of this community, to not face it alone, to have amazing people by their side, and to have a buddy.
Mm-hmm.
What do
Absolutely,
you?
hands down. I believe in the buddy system. I believe in that person. I believe that that is what is going to put us the next. Wouldn't say it's easy for me to refer people. It's not like that, yet it is, because
Right.
I know for myself with the depression, anxiety, or whatever,
Mm-hmm,
anything
mm-hmm.
that shows up in our lives, in our world, that, yeah, there's going to be somebody that's going to connect. There's going to be somebody that understands. There's going to be somebody that wants to help and wants to listen.
And what's so exciting is that we are having this event on December the 3rd. However, I've been convinced to do it for 36 hours this time. So we are going to start it on the 2nd. And we have a goal, and we want to meet the goal. If you go to the website, you see $50,000. Yes, $50,000. And right now we're looking to find someone that's going to want to then match, because this is an amazing cause.
Mm-hmm.
We are also, right now, we have a beta site that the actual searching works. The forums work. And we are now getting ready to load it with the content and the look. So the goal is that, because we had to state it, one of the coaches that's working with us from the first Global Next Impactor,
Mm-hmm.
Jason Cisneros,
Mm-hmm.
when we started coaching with him, because it's the full team
Mm-hmm.
that's coaching, because
Absolutely.
it's all about the team. That's what I'm all about, is that this program is so important, and it is, I told you guys we were going to do this together, and we are, aren't we? We are doing this together, and that's what's
Well,
so.
that's the thing, is I want to make sure, though, that people understand the amount of effort Tamara Hunter puts behind this particular organization, this brand, and this movement, and that if you are not a part of it today, that hands down, this is the heart of the matter of how we can help each other. There's not a separation. Yes, competition, healthy competition, still means we're better together.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Well, and let's just address that, because one thing I'm so excited about is that we have working with us. Okay. Yes, I was crowned the first Global Next Impactor. We have the third runner up, Misty Lane, who has now accepted a board position on the nonprofit. Then we have the fourth runner up, Christopher Kaysen, and he is helping to lead Healing Through Art. And we have the winner of the Best Dressed international contest, Teresa Snider, that is helping us in multiple different ways in educating us, bringing us more resources, and being like an ambassador for our program. We have more of the ones that didn't even make it to the top 50, or they did and they didn't make it to the top 25. Many of the impactors have joined us because, and their messages are being heard. Their messages are out there. We're able to share them. And because we are all working together. And in fact, I even asked someone today, I'm like, you're starting to team with some of the people, and it's like, yeah, we're going to start working together. I'm like, I love it, because that's what you want. You want to be able to bring good people together, and everybody wins in a variety of ways. So you're going to go live, right, during the event. You're going to be a reporter on the street and doing some cool stuff in your neck of the woods. And you love doing that, don't you?
Oh, yes. Like it is just such a phenomenon for me to be able to connect with people and say, hey, this is what we're out there doing, and ask those questions and get people involved. People, they don't know how to be involved oftentimes, but it's a matter of just saying, hey, we have an avenue that you can be involved. How do you want to be involved? Just ask those questions. How would you like to be involved?
Okay, so put your thinking caps on, guys, because we had a meeting yesterday, and this is what we're thinking of doing. Chemo Buddies for Life thinks completely outside the box. There's no box. We've shattered the box. None. And so we're thinking, what can we do that's similar to like Pass the Boot, and be raising funds and awareness when our reporters are out on the street, when people are having events, and what would be eye-catching? What would be fun? Let's have a contest. Let's come up with what can we do that will put a good light on us and make us unique, because where this is going, if anybody remembers Jerry Lewis telethon that took place over the 3 days with over a holiday, and took over Vegas and all the traditional channels back when, we are poised. We are positioning ourselves. We will become that entity going into most likely next year for Giving Tuesday, that we will be having a live mega entertainment event that will be filmed, and we will be taking it modern day, streaming it throughout the world. And we want to do something as unique as Pass the Boot, but Chemo Buddy style. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing, is that as we know, Vicky's 15 hours ahead of us in Australia, and you've got the New Year's Eve themes and all these different themes, and it's like, yeah, live streaming. We can all have a celebration.
Yes, we are. We are celebrating that we're taking the scary out of cancer. We are celebrating that we have created a place for people to come home and feel like they are a part of a community, a family, a place where they can just say, I can breathe. I can breathe, and it's going to be okay. And we'll get through this. And it doesn't have to define us. And I don't have to do it alone.
Hugs, like apps. I love it. I'm excited.
I know. And that's why we are 30 days and counting. Everybody, be a part of our team. If you haven't gone to cb4l.org yet, register for our newsletter. If you haven't donated yet, what are you waiting for? Every single dollar counts.
Ooh, this would be fun to think of some good ideas around, like, I don't know, it's going to have me thinking, like, you know how they used to do dinner out with someone?
Okay, I love it. I love it.
Meet your hero, meet somebody, like, This is fun. Like, this is
Okay.
my fundraising hat on.
Okay, we've got our fundraising hats on. If you haven't joined our team yet, come and join us. We have fun. We really do. And people are actually getting business. You know, Carol was telling me even that we went live yesterday to talk about this, and she's like, you know what? Good things are happening. And I'm like, of course, because when you have good energy out there doing the right things, it's amazing what happens. It's like a magnet. So, how can people get a hold of you, Teresa? And what's your latest and greatest? If they want to be following you, what is it that you are up to, and what can we do for you?
Wow, that's a great question. Is that I think I want to just be a part of this movement. I really just want to know that my time here on this earth mattered, you know, and that we got to have some fun, and we got to put some glitter on it. We got to bring music into it and healing into it, and just that it's time to heal.
Yes.
Yes.
And
see, out with someone mentoring a photo video shoot.
That's a great idea.
Absolutely. Like, I think about like Kelsey Humphrey, Shalene Johnson, Lewis Howes, all the mentors that I look up to that I would love. And that's how Kevin and I met whenever I was in LA. And Kevin's a great one because of all of the different, we're all intricately connected, 3 degrees of separation, but it's like a night out with someone, a mentor, and we can like auction these things off. Like, I've started telling people again that I'm starting to date again, right? Like, that's the thing. It's like, how can we collectively bring, and I painted a bunch of different Christmas signs or joy or whatever signs. Like, how can we collectively bring these into the mix and either auction them off, either photo shoots and bring people into collective environments of having some fun. Yeah.
Okay, so we have an eBay site that we can actually utilize. If anybody out here is from the nonprofit world and has been successful in this in a digital platform, we want to hear from you. Also, I know that we've been talking about what we can do. So we're going to start putting our thinking caps on and coming up with some really cool packages. And can I invite you back on, Teresa? And hey, Kevin, you need to come on. We're getting all of our volunteers on. We're going to be having like a celebration party, Service Heroes. Let's get this done. We are moving forward to make a difference together in the afternoon, evening hours. So how about it?
And I have another idea too. For those of you that are looking for a way to give a gift during the holidays, and you're tired of sending fruitcakes, and you're tired of, you can give in honor and in memory of donations during this holiday season.
Yes.
There's plenty of ways that we can collectively, we all have so much stuff that you can now put your name or your loved one's name on a brick or on a whatever. So
right. And you know, and in if you donate to us in the comments, you can say that you are doing that. And if it is a gift, we will be happy to create something really cool to send to that person to say thank you, and so that they know that a gift has been given in their name and honor to help someone that's been affected by cancer. We have such talented people. We have such amazing purpose-driven volunteers that are driving this machine to build this movement and cause so that no one has to face cancer alone. And I can't say thank you enough for playing with me today in the Service Heroes show. I am so excited to have it back and be visiting with all of you. And
you are one of my very most favorite best friends, and I love you. I admire you. And let's just keep going to that $50,000. Put a stake in it.
Yes, and then we're going to find someone, a foundation, a company, whatever it may be, and we'll sing you praises that will match. So we know, and people are being called to this movement. So if you're feeling a call, don't question it, because many of us have, and many more are coming. And we are going to change the way cancer is done, one person at a time.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Bye-bye.
So everybody, I will be going live in the morning tomorrow and in the afternoon tomorrow for more fun.
Yeah.
Go check out cb4l.org. Bye.
Bye.